I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed your pressure points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Nude/Naked AJ. We're coming at you with Season 5, Episode 22, Action 1005, Part 1. I don't know what the fuck AJ's talking about today, but it's going to be good. We are back, baby. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PointSoPressure.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
Damn, you got the timing right.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Right back in it.
Oh, I keep thinking we should like fade out the dumbass.
Nah, it's just
but
cuts.
I also like the cut.
Yeah, dumbass.
Yeah, but yeah, so we're back. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
I deleted those announcements, so
I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about. We're back.
We're back. 2 episodes today. It has been a hell of a couple of weeks, I gotta say.
It has been a hell of a couple of months, man.
Holy shit.
It's been a fucking minute.
Yeah, shout out to my nephew recovering from an injury. He's doing fine now.
He's doing great.
I don't want to say too much to dox myself real good, but yeah, he's doing better. He's in recovery, I was told to say.
After his rehab trip.
Yeah, after his rehab trip. He's not quite 2 yet. We got sick.
Oh my God.
As hell.
AJ got me sick. The hours after I recorded telling you guys that AJ was sick and couldn't do an episode, he just fucking sneezed down the vents. I could hear it.
No, it was definitely
my
from my wife, because I wasn't sick yet. And on a weed jar.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure. Yeah. It's either that or you got it from
my girlfriend's
from your girlfriend's family. So
but yeah, here we are. We're back.
You can hear the congestion.
Despite having new microphones,
brand new microphones,
we are quite
arms.
Congested. Yeah,
still sounds like shit.
Yeah, we're at 50%. So. The mics are at 100%. So it's a good 75.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Next week will be way better.
It was nice, the people who reached out and were like, hey,
thank you.
Get better. I really appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who listens, and especially the patrons who helped us get these beautiful microphones.
Oh, my God, so much so.
Which was a great segue.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we have some big news for everyone. This isn't just for patrons, although the episode that was released was just for patrons. This is big news. We are finally doing a patron-exclusive episode. It's available to the lowest to the highest tiers on our Patreon, but every month we're going to try to get a new episode out for patrons to make it actually fucking worth it.
Hell yeah.
Finally. We finally put it together. So,
that is an uncomfortably tall mug.
Yeah, I know. It's right really there. Skinny, too.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I just
you're
noticed.
Good.
So yeah, exclusive episode. The first one's out now. It'll come out at the exact same time these 2 episodes are released. So right now, if you're a patron, you got 3 episodes to make up for us being gone.
And if not, you got 2.
So. And I got to say, the episode that's the exclusive, pretty good. It's
Thank
a
you.
Episode.
Thank you. I talk about another heist in Japan, and it's
pretty good.
It's a good one.
It's pretty good. I accidentally spoiled the reveal.
Who would have thought? As if that ever fucking happens.
It's fantastic, because when I guess, I'm right. When you guess, you're completely off base.
Oh, I do it on purpose.
It's our balance.
Yeah. Keep everything
Yeah, whatever
level.
you say, you do it on purpose. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got to throw out the big shit.
And I apologize for us coughing, clearing our throats this entire episode, starting now. I try to lean away, but, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those episodes.
Yeah. Check out our Instagram. We're going to put a little picture out of our new microphone.
Oh, I was like, well, what are we
We're taking a selfie. We're doing a dick reveal.
Yeah.
They're just touching.
Yeah, touching tips. Oh, man. So, yeah, we're fucking back. You've got us for, I don't know, 23 or 4 episodes.
Something like that.
But, yeah.
Before our next break.
If you want to get access to that Patreon exclusive. Follow the link in the description or listen to the end of the show. AJ will give you a breakdown of the site and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
onto this episode, I guess.
What you got for me, dude?
Also, if that water bottle touches the table, I will castrate you on air.
I just took it off the table, so.
It fell on a rock. Well, it fell out of a third story. Yeah, I don't want to cut into the Patreon episode. We've already talked about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it fucking makes a horrible noise. So, I handwrite my notes on my tablet.
I don't know why.
I love it.
It
just flows. It's much faster for me. I'm a faster writer than I am a typer.
Oh,
because I'm a boomer.
I write in all caps and small words, and I can't use the right-click synonyms when I'm writing.
Oh, I never. Yeah, no,
I do that when
do
I
that.
type, so I sound smarter.
Oh yeah.
So me sounds big smart.
Big brain smarty.
Me big brain smart man.
So yeah, it auto corrected it to Alyushin 1005. Because the computer can't read my handwriting. But luckily, I can most of the time. So we're talking about Aktion 1005. It's or SUNDANCE 1005, as it's also known.
Oh, so I wasn't told the whole title?
I told you the whole title. Don't pretend.
I know.
Shit. I just wanted to ruin that. So actually, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Paul Blobel.
Germany mall cop. Nazi mall cop.
Nazi mall cop, essentially. Oh, there was a little bug. He was born August 13th, 1894.
Ooh.
And...
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's 40, you son of a bitch.
Of course, yeah. So he was born in Potsdam, Germany. Potsdam, whatever, Germany. He had a very uneventful early life. World War I comes around, or the Great War comes around, and he's an engineer.
Uneventful.
Pretty uneventful. He got an Iron Cross first class.
Boring. Next.
Yeah, next. And he was just a typical German man.
Just a red and black-blooded German.
Yeah. And yellow. Is that...
Yeah.
Don't they have yellow in their flag? Yeah. Red, black, and yellow German
Blooded
man.
German.
After World War I, he decided to go back to school and contribute to society.
Good for him.
Not knowing the horrible financial situation that was going to happen to most of the world in a decade, if not even a decade.
Nah, it's going to turn out fine. I promise, Paul.
So he became an architect. He was like, yeah, people have plenty of money for rebuilding after the war. This will be great.
Architecture is exactly what you would want to get in Germany 1940.
Yeah. So 1924 comes around. He gets a job as an architect. I just realized I got to be more careful about where I'm looking when I'm talking in the microphone. Sorry. Yeah, 1924 comes around. He becomes an architect, and he does that for 7 years.
Okay.
He loses his job in 1931. Nobody's building buildings when their money,
God
their
damn
currency
it.
is completely inflated. So, he does what any proud German man of the time period does, and he joins the Nazi Party, the SA, and the SS.
Whoa.
All by December 1st, 1931.
Jesus Christ.
So he's not only
He just
a
went
Nazi,
all in.
He's not only an SS, but he's also the SA, which is like the paramilitary wing
Dude
during
just
the early
fucking
years.
triple downed.
Oh yeah, he's like, these guys will give me a job.
These seem like the kind of guys that would build a building.
Yeah. I really love brutalist concrete structures, so this is going to be perfect for me.
Do you guys need any kinds of fences built anywhere?
Yeah, plenty of fences, barrack-style buildings, concrete monolithic structures. It's me.
I'm the Paul you've been waiting to meet.
Yeah. So, about 1933 comes around, and he joins the Dusseldorf police.
Oh my God, dude.
Which,
He's putting his eggs
bastard.
in every single basket possible.
Yeah, the police during the whole, Nazi era were basically just an extension of the Gestapo.
No.
Yeah. That's like when the
surprises
Nazis
me.
invaded different areas, they always went to the police station and said, you are now our, basically, bitches. You were already bitches, and you're not going to object to this because now you have more power
Oh, God.
to commit atrocities.
Great.
So they were really smart doing that. So he's a cop for a while. 1934 comes around, and he is recruited into the SD, which is the intelligence wing of the SS. So, kind of doing some spy shit. Mostly just, Hail Hitlering everywhere.
God, really?
Sig hailing, slapping the boots together, wearing those fancy pants.
Click, click.
And, brief aside. I've been watching Man in the High Castle.
Yeah?
I just started the second season. Holy shit.
You like it?
It is fucking good.
I need to watch it. I've watched one episode.
It got way better the second season. Like, the first episode of the second season was better than the first season.
Jesus. I
think. It was just very exciting. Very, very fun, very well shot, stylistically, very beautiful.
Fun,
Yeah.
A fun show overall.
Of what could have been a romantic
Jesus
show.
Christ.
Of the perfect future that we could have had.
Gosh. Just stop.
I mean, what? No, but so he goes into the SD. He's a fucking he's a career man.
Bootlicker. Oh.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But he's been a cop. He works for secret, intelligence and shit. He works for the SS. Like, he's obviously not a nice dude, which that comes into play later.
I don't know if it's coming to play later.
First red
it's
flag,
already fucking coming to play.
The first red flag was him becoming a cop.
Yeah.
And then he does that. He does intelligence for 6 years-ish. Doesn't really do a lot that we know about anymore. A lot of records were destroyed, and he just did kind of inconsequential shit for... I mean, I'm sure it was consequential at the time, because he was working SS intelligence during, this 1934 through 1941, so...
Dude had his hands in fucking everything. So.
Oh, yeah. So he was definitely involved in the Holocaust as it developed.
He knew better than Hitler as to what was going on with how many connections he had.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He definitely knew what was going on. He worked with the, execution of the Jewish people, which we get into a little bit later. June 1941 comes around, Operation Barbarossa. The Nazis invade Soviet Russia. That's their whole thing that's going on, and he plays a huge role in it, essentially. He became the commanding officer of the Sonderkommando 4A of Einsatzgruppe C.
Okay.
So basically, he's a commander of a group of the Einsatzgruppen who were, the roaming death squads of Eastern Europe, basically anywhere that was behind enemy lines, or not behind enemy lines. So wherever the Nazis were in their invasion of Soviet Russia, they were behind them, going to every rural village, every city, every town,
just everything,
executing as many Jews as possible, and Romas, and political dissidents, Ukrainian nationals, that kind of stuff.
So anytime the Germans made headway on taking land,
these guys would show up and clear
Jesus.
An entire area. And I talk about this more at the end. I learned about these guys from a shittily produced documentary on Netflix, but it was really good. It was a really good low budget documentary. It was just a narrator and wartime footage. It was fantastic. You'll find it if you just search for Einsatzgruppe. But I also read a book about a dude who started an entire group who goes through Eastern Europe to this day and interviews people who were kids during this time period to try to find the mass graves. Because basically every village had at least one.
Yeah.
Most had multiple. So this kind of goes into Eastern Europe. That's where we're going.
Okay.
That's where we're at. But yeah, the Einsatzgruppe were fucking brutal. They were highly mobile, small groups of Nazis, who would they would go into a town, go to, if they had any kind of law, any kind of, cop or sheriff or whatever, they go to him and say, all right, round up all the Jews, meet us here, find me a chef to serve me lunch, and give me a couple bottles of booze. And they would just go there, the people would be rounded up, and it was usually, like, if it was a small village, it would be one dude. It would be one Nazi who was just like, okay, dig a pit right here for no reason. Okay, now stand in front of the pit, and he just gunned them down. It was brutal. They were highly efficient, as the Germans were during this time period.
It's in their blood.
Oh, yeah.
It's like good old-fashioned German efficiency.
Exactly. So August 1941 comes around. They are... Yeah, I'm doing good. They are... there's a couple months after they're moving into Soviet Union when Blobel was tasked with creating the Zhytomyr Ghetto. That's good. That's good. Zhytomyr Ghetto.
Ghetto. Okay.
So basically, he created the ghetto by using slave labor, like they did, and he rounded up 3,000 Jewish people in the region, threw them into the ghetto, and took less than a month for all of them to be dead.
Jesus Christ.
And he was just like, well, that's my job. Fucking Paul. Fucking Blobel.
Goddamn fucking Paul Blobel.
So now, at this point, he's created this, this ghetto, which, hey, at that time, I was like, hey, good job, nice job. Like, there's a promotion in it for you. And he's been going around with the Einsatzgruppe. He's been basically trying to create the most efficient killing machine possible. And he's doing so well that this dude, Friedrich... You remember how I said I couldn't read my own handwriting?
You got it. Just give it a shot.
I think that's a Y, but it could be an N. Jekeln. Let's say Friedrich Jekeln. He was the commander of police and the commander of the SS in the occupied Soviet territory. And he got an order from Hitler. So he's basically Blobel's boss. He gets an order from Hitler directly and says, hey, go tell Blobel, we're just going to do the full extermination. Like, before it was just round up the Jews and we'll kill them, but it wasn't like they didn't verify it through records.
Yeah.
They didn't try to trick people into showing up. It was just, oh, wrong place, wrong time, you're dead.
Yeah. It wasn't as like root them out.
Yeah.
It was just, oh, Jewish,
you're
dead.
here, dead. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is now the orders are, you need to get each of these regions and you need to document how many Jews you killed, and how many, and if it's Judenfree, which is just free of the Jews.
Oh, okay.
And you need to do this in every territory that we control.
Jesus.
So everything ramps up. The first, after getting this order, the first mass killing that is documented, that is that was larger than the other ones, because these other ones are 15 people here, 20 people here, which is a mass killing, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't documented as well as these larger ones. Was one at Bila Servka. There's a lot of T's in there.
Damn, you really did it to yourself today.
Bila Servka. He basically killed off the entire adult Jewish population, and all the kids were just kind of thrown into a warehouse. But people in the town were like, they're just kids crying day and night. And they're Nazis, who were just like, bruh, they're just kids crying in this warehouse, and we just killed off all of their parents.
God damn.
Like, what do we do about this? So the soldiers go to the chaplains. The Nazi chaplains say, ooh, maybe that's not good to massacre a bunch of kids. Like, they're fine. They're fine if you kill them all at once.
Yeah. Who would have thought that the Nazis would draw a line?
Oh, just wait. So the chaplains basically wrote letters to different Nazi commanders in the area to stop it. They delayed because it was originally just, all right, just bring them out to the field. Let's go. Blobel was like, yeah, let's just kill them. And they wrote letters, and different Nazi officials came to Blobel and were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. I mean, yeah, they don't mind if they're killing the parents and the children all at once, but separate, it's a little bit more brutal. So they delayed it by a couple of days, and then Blobel basically said, no, these are my orders. Kill everybody. So he brought them out on tractors. All these kids.
Yeah, give them a nice little tractor hayride.
Oh, it's so cute. It was the only
Sorry,
time...
we've had you locked up for 3 days in a warehouse.
Without food.
Yeah.
It was the only time documented that chaplains tried to stop a mass killing of Jewish people.
Jesus.
The only time.
God damn.
That's
fucking crazy.
Yeah, so they brought them in by tractor, and they lined them up on the edge of the pits, and they actually ordered the local police to kill the kids. And they weren't soldiers.
And where was this?
This was in Ukraine somewhere.
God damn.
Yeah, it was at Bila Servka.
Oh, okay.
The massacres are usually named after where they happen. But because they weren't soldiers, they weren't Nazis. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So they were just shooting kids with machine guns. They weren't shooting them in the head. It was not quick.
Yeah,
it was not
this isn't...
clean. Like, people wrote in journals and shit like that they just heard wailing of just, kids who were wounded and would probably die in like 30 minutes from their wounds, just conscious in the pits. And then they just buried them alive.
God damn.
And he was just okay with this. He
Fucking
never complained.
Paul.
Fucking Paul.
Piece of shit.
So, the next part is another massacre that he organized, and it's a very big, important to the war, like important to remember massacre that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but it wasn't quite big enough to do a full episode on. So, I'm going to talk about Babi Yar. Have you heard of Babi Yar?
It sounds familiar.
I
feel like you've mentioned it before.
It was recently in the news, actually, because the Russians bombed the memorial to this. It's outside of Kyiv.
Okay, yeah.
So they recently bombed and destroyed the memorial, which is like a full asshole kind of thing to do. Because it wasn't until the fall of the Soviet Union itself that they put a large memorial on. There was a small memorial there, but after the fall of the Soviet Union, they put like a giant menorah and more stuff, an actual memorial for all the people who died here. So September 1941 in Kyiv, it was the 29th and the 30th. Blobel was tasked with organizing this mass killing. 33,771 Jewish people were killed in 2 days.
Damn.
Because of this guy. Over the course of the war, an additional 100 to 150,000 people were also killed at this site, just in different incidents, different massacres, essentially. And it expanded past just Jewish people to Soviet POWs, Romanis, Ukrainian nationalists, basically anybody they didn't like were added to this pile. Because Babi Yar is this giant, I'm pretty sure it's just a giant natural ravine. I've got the dimensions further down. And they basically put out all these letters. Blobel was just, this is what we're going to do. We're going to publish in the newspapers, and we're going to tack them to posts, and we're going to put out these papers that basically say, okay, if you're Jewish and you don't want to die, come to this field and for relocation. It was near a train track.
God, dude.
So they were expecting about 5,000 people to show up, when basically the entire population of Jewish people showed up because they're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. We know these guys are Einsatzgruppen. Like, this is bad. So they all showed up. They were all forced to undress and sort their own clothing into piles. Different pieces go in different piles. If they were too slow, they were beaten. And they were led into this ravine. Oh, here we go. It's 150 meters long, 30 meters wide, and 15 meters deep. Multiply those numbers by 3 for roughly the feet.
Jesus.
Roughly. So 30 feet deep.
Yeah.
And 60 feet, or 90 feet wide. Like, this is a huge, huge ravine. And basically they forced the Jewish people to lay down on top of the already dead people. To lay face down on top of them. And then one guy would come around with a gun and just shoot him. in a row, and they used the sardine method, which I've talked about on earlier episodes. But just fucking brutal.
Just line them up, shoot them, line them up.
No, make them lay down on top.
Oh, lay down, shoot them, lay down.
Just layer
after
layer. So you just
layer.
see it.
Yeah.
So it's just layers and layers and layers of bodies. Let's see. Yeah, it was either sometimes it was a soldier, sometimes it was a local police officer who would just come by and just boom, bam, bam. All of the loot, all of the clothing and personal possessions and everything were given to local ethnic Germans who were already living in the area, and the rest was shipped off to Nazi administration somehow.
Oh, well, at least they donated it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's great. And then they just, because it was such a big ravine, they threw dynamite into the walls, blew it up so the dirt would cover them, and then they sent all the Soviet POWs down to basically stamp
Just
the dirt
walk
flat
over it.
and rake it and
Jesus.
completely hide the fact that there were 33,000, almost 34,000 bodies. Like,
Fuck.
some of the pictures on this
And then
episode,
what? The next day was 150.
No, that's throughout the rest of the war.
Oh, throughout the rest of the war.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the pictures on this episode are the location, some of the clothing, and some pictures of the people who were killed here. Only about 10% of the victims at this site have ever been identified by name. Like, it is completely
Just because
insane.
of how many there were.
And just the lack of documentation.
Yeah.
You know, when you knock out an entire family, there's nobody there to remember
Yeah.
who you are. Like, the people who were able to figure out that their family members were killed, it was always distant relatives. It was, oh, this was my niece. Oh, this was my cousin, you know, from far away.
But
like,
in a mass fucking grave.
if
it's
you
not
have the
like
whole
don't have
family,
any-
nobody's going
you
to
don't
fucking
have
remember
anything.
them.
Yeah, there's no way to fully identify every single person.
Yeah. So, horrible, huge massacre. They buried the corpses. They buried the survivors. They didn't give a shit. They didn't check. I actually found, so of this whole area and these mass killings, only 29 people survived that have come forward and said anything.
God.
Most people didn't really talk about surviving it until they were much older. Oh, that was a weird noise.
Yeah, I was fixing my headphone and it fucking snapped back onto my head.
Nice. One woman, badass, Dina Pronisheva. Sure. She survived because she was in the area, obviously being rounded up, and she tore up her identification card. And when the Nazis asked to see it, she was like, "No, I'm not Jewish. I'm here to see off a friend."
Yeah.
Who was. We thought they were getting relocated. Like, what's happening? And they were like, we'll kill her anyway. Solid work.
God damn.
So then she, was forced to strip down, thrown in line, and she realized, and she saw there were, because it was so big, after the first couple layers was when they started laying them down on top. The first couple layers were just on the edge of the ravine, shot and pushed. Shot, and then they fell, So what she did was just, as soon as the shooting started, she just jumped and played dead.
Oh,
So
God.
she was, and then people would lay down on top of her and get shot. And then they'd throw, and then she got
Jesus,
buried alive in the corpse pile, waited until it was dark, and climbed out.
God damn.
And, by the time it was dark, the Nazis were just finishing off a couple people, essentially. Like, it was pretty much done. So she was able to hide. There weren't a ton of people around. And escape. And she never revealed herself until the trials came. And she testified
God
about
damn.
that. Crazy?
That's
What a
fucking
badass.
nuts. Jesus, dude.
Can't even imagine that. So then, Blobel's, he's on top of the world. He's got a great career going. He ends up receiving some of the first gas vans that the Einsatzgruppe used, which are just exactly what they sound like. They look like shipping vans, but you put people in the back, and it's basically, it's a Zyklon B shower.
Yeah, just gas on the go.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. Yeah, what a great guy, right?
Jesus.
So let me see here. I'm just looking at the dates. I really gotta keep my mouth in front of this microphone. I keep talking away from it. Sorry.
You gotta move it over a little.
I'll just turn my entire body. So the next year, actually January 13th, 1942, Blobel is relieved of command.
You were talking.
Was I? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. Here, I'll talk. There we
you
go. He's relieved of command, sent to a hospital because there are some health concerns because he's an alcoholic. For some reason.
Yeah. Who the fuck would drink during the Nazi regime?
And we're getting close to the end of this episode. But he's visited in the hospital by Heydrich, known as the architect of the Holocaust.
Oh, God.
Pretty shit guy who says, "Oh, you're not actually being hospitalized for alcoholism. We just said that. This is a cover." Because he was an intelligence man, so...
Yeah.
So he wasn't an alcoholic. They just had the paperwork and had him basically, like, escorted to the hospital to make it look legit.
Yeah.
So it was a cover. He came to him and said, "I have orders from the very top secret mission for you.
Oh, no.
You just hang out here, play up the role, do whatever you want. I'll come back to you in a week or so with more details. Just be ready."
Oh, Jesus.
And then Heydrich gets assassinated.
What?
Yeah. He's assassinated by some rebels who are trained by the British, and the mission's put on pause.
God damn.
It's put on pause just long enough for Blobel to develop the gas chambers for the Polish concentration camps. He basically says, "Well, these are working great. Let's throw these in here. Like, I used the gas in the vans. Other camps use this. Let's implement them here in the work camps."
No, let's do it on
Poland.
a bigger scale.
Yeah. And he's approached by the chief of the Gestapo, and the mission is set back on, and I'm going to talk about the mission in the next episode.
Nice.
Bam.
Holy
Good
shit.
setup, right?
What a fucking... It's a lot to unpack. God damn.
Yeah. He is a dick. He is a fucking asshole. Like, I started reading about this dude. I started reading about Aktion 1005, which we haven't even talked about yet. And it led me to this guy.
Damn.
Which led me to learning about his connection, in completely organizing Baba Yar, the gas vans. Like, when I first read Paul Blobel, I'm like, well, I haven't heard this name yet.
Paul
it's not,
Blobel,
like,
Nazi cop.
I haven't heard of this guy before. He must not be that big. He fucking did everything. Like,
Jesus Christ,
very active in Eastern Europe.
He really, honestly, going over all of that stuff, he had his hands in so many different things.
He knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you know what Operation Reinhardt was?
No, it sounds familiar, but...
I think we've talked about it before. Let me switch tabs. Operation... I just want to get the dates right.
Yeah, you're good.
It's... There we go. It's a code name for the German plan in World War II to exterminate the Polish Jews in German-occupied Poland. Basically, this was when they started introducing the extermination camps. They had work camps before that were actually, work camps that work you till you're dead. But then they started to develop these extermination camps, and that was late 1941.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is right around where we left off Paul. So normally I'd say next week.
Yeah.
It's released at the same time.
About 5 minutes.
Yeah.
God, dude. It's just do you think that he was able to get where he was because at the start of everything, he was just in every fucking Nazi organization?
Yeah, I think he got in on the ground floor of every group.
Yeah.
And he was seen, the thing that the Nazis fucking love is nationalism. It's pride and, pushing yourself for the greater good of the Nazis, essentially,
Yeah.
And I think he showed that when he joined every organization possible, took an active stance in every organization. He he made contacts and names that got him into intelligence work with no background of intelligence work. That got him into commanding officers with no military background besides engineer work in World War One. You know, like
just that quote unquote initiative that he showed.
Yeah, the initiative
that
and
continued his fucking reach.
You get in early, you cozy up to everybody you can, because eventually people will start to rise.
Yeah, they'll start to see.
And when people rise, nepotism is always there.
Yeah,
so
I mean, and
they're like, "Oh, I knew this guy back when we were brown shirts."
Yeah.
You know, you can have a job with me. Come on. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. More contacts yet. God damn, dude.
Yeah,
Such
from a fucking architect.
God, dude. He knew how to build. He knew how to fucking build, man.
He knew how to build social groups.
He knew a really solid foundation. And that's what he fucking built with the Nazis.
He gets worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
Next episode
It doesn't surprise me.
I'm going to say, I'm willing to admit that I think next episode he does worse things than Baba Yar and
grand.
his ghettos, his gas chambers. So, he's basically middle management of the Holocaust at this point. Because he has a boss who reports to Hitler. So he's middle management right now, which means he's the one who gets his hands dirty.
Yeah. Oh, good lord.
Yeah, so more Paul in 5 minutes. Yeah. You know, I gotta say thank you to the patrons, who make all this possible. We now have a board.
Yeah, we're outnumbered.
We're outnumbered
you sons
now
of bitches.
By the chair people.
No, all of their votes count as half. So it would take them, we need one more and they'll be equal, 2 more, and they would outnumber us.
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah. Sure.
Sounds fair.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
It keeps us in control.
Yeah, and then when we get
a small
more,
semblance
we're
of
say
control.
It's a quarter, and then eventually we'll say, "Oh, well, they're only worth 3/5 of a person."
No. We won't get that far.
All right.
Just half of a vote.
All right. Well, thank you to the board, Mini D, Nordic Thunder, Toddle Waddle. You know, you're like 75% of the donations every month.
Yeah,
so that's fantastic.
Hell. Really.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Of course, we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Haley, Lindo, Casey McFacey, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, and Lara Revo.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for supporting us, keeping us ad-free. That's definitely not due to us having no offers. Yeah. I can repeat jokes sometimes, just little jokes from the exclusive episode.
Yeah, you get to do it once a month. Yeah,
it's perfect.
Good for you. And don't forget,
Patreon.com.
Patreon exclusive.
/points-o-pressure. New episode and a couple other new things coming out August 1st. Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, and as always, find us on Instagram and Twitter @points-o-pressure. Reach out if you have any show ideas, if you want to share some music, books, TV shows, movies.
Music books.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah, fucking
books
music.
Books.
Yeah, sound of music, whatever. Reach out to us if you just need someone to talk to. By all means, reach out to us on Instagram and Twitter @points-o-pressure, and we will catch you guys next episode in about 10 minutes.